Hi, friends. How are you? Happy, beautiful weekend. I hope you're enjoying your time. I actually am popping on unexpectedly because I had a conversation that I'm hoping we can have a conversation about, and that's how to turn your failure into success. It's not something that I'm all too comfortable talking about, but I recently had a conversation with my good friend who's become a business mentor. His name is James Wedmore, and one of the things that he told me was, we must make the conscious decision to reframe our situation. We can choose to believe we failed, or we can choose to believe that we learned a lesson. So, the thing that I am learning over time is that failure, thinking it as a failure, is a choice. We can say, wow, I learned something from that. And I know it probably sounds so like sweet and syrupy and like completely out of touch. But the thing that really shifted for me as an entrepreneur, I've been working with him for 3 years, and I have slowly realized that we don't have failures, we have lessons. And it's important for us to have those conversations around lessons because I'm hoping that I could be a little bit real with you so that we're not covered in shame around like the things I used to think were mistakes or failures. So, today we're going to get a little real. We're going to have a conversation about 3 personal business lessons. And I kind of just want to have a conversation, and then there have been times where I openly share things on social media, and then people definitely have an opinion. They're like, you should have, or you could have. And I'm like, listen, I know 20, like looking back, you have like perfect vision. Like looking back, I probably would not have learned the lessons. You know what I'm saying? But I think we can all look back at points in our life. And I'm wondering, if I have a conversation with you, if we can open a conversation to something even bigger. So, here we go. The first lesson I learned is, don't run the risk of giving in over your head. Like, I don't know about you, but have you ever gotten in over your head? Like, if you have, like, just let me know in the comments so that when I read these, I'm just like not completely and totally feeling alone and wildly vulnerable. Um, okay, so back in 2016, I had this dream of hosting an event. And this event was called The Path to Profitability, and it was a live event. And it was the first time that I was doing something like this on my own. Like, I'm like, I want to get entrepreneurs together in a room, and I want to have a 2-day event, and I want to create an experience. So, I didn't want to do anything halfway. So we designed a magazine workbook. We had an in-person event at a really amazing venue in Los Angeles. And then at the end, well, we just toasted with not just champagne, but with like the nicest champagne. And, it's not something that I really talk about, but that event, our investment in that event was 6 figures. Now, I I'm happy that we did that because we learned a lot and we recorded it, but it happened at a really crazy time in my personal life because getting in over your head just doesn't happen with one thing. Getting in over in your head happens with a lot of things at once. So this is me just being real, letting you know that at the same time, we bought a new house, we renovated the house. I took a break from creating, booking clients for photography, and then I stopped creating third party content. So, what is third party content? Well, there was a time in my business where I was creating educational resources for other companies to sell it on my behalf, right? So, you get in over your head, not just with one decision, but with multiple decisions. And I didn't talk about what it was, but behind the scenes, I can let you know truly I was in over my head. But here's one thing that I hate admitting about myself as like a business owner, because I feel like it's a chink in my armor, and that just basically, like, I'll come out and say that I was stubborn and I am stubborn. And JC just said, I opened a yoga studio with all the yoga skills and none of the business skills. Total and utter flop, still emotionally recovering. JC, I am having this conversation right now with a ton of other business owners just like you, because I can tell you that what you went through was not a failure. It's only a failure if you continue to tell yourself a failure. Because JC and anybody else listening and wanting to know, like, why did I go through that? It was for something bigger. And that something bigger is something that I learned is that, JC, what you went through is preparing you for the thing that you want. I have learned over time that if you work hard and you're nice to people, other things will happen. So JC, thank you. I see you. And I want to let you know that I was right there too. Not only was I heartbroken after the event, I was just like, how are we going to pay our bills? Like, we were living in a hotel and we were trying to refurbish a house. And I'm like, are we going to have to take a small business loan? Like, what in the heck is going on? But the thing that I learned from this lesson, and JC, I hope that you know it wasn't a failure, but a lesson, is what did I learn? Well, the first time you try something new, it doesn't have to be perfect. It barely has to be good. So here I was, unknowingly, and what I can say now looking back is I was desperate to make this event feel and look all kinds of amazing because I was insecure. I was afraid that people would come to this event and be like, this is it? Wow, this is not cute. I was afraid of what other people were going to say. So I went above and beyond. Now, JC, you opened a yoga studio and maybe you made it the raddest, coolest yoga studio. Now, God, or if you believe in the universe or your inner calling, is asking you, JC, what did you learn from that? Show up on Instagram Live. Show up on Facebook Live and teach what you know and let your audience facilitate your growth on what you should be doing. Because maybe you're not intended to have a yoga studio, or maybe you are, but you're not going to know until you start showing up and serving people in the most ghetto, fabulous ways. Like what I am doing right now. I am serving people by simply coming on a Facebook page and having conversation, which leads us to lesson number 2, and that is to listen to others. So straight talk. I am the founder of Social Curator, and we launched in July 2017, and then we had a big promotional sequence in like October 17, and then bam, I got slapped upside the face in January 2018. Because again, this is not something that I talk about from a business owner perspective, is, Social Curator was this new idea. I was like, just like JC and anybody else, like Cherie said, I know what you mean, and like Tatiana says all the time, when you start something new, you don't know how people are going to respond. So you're trying your best. I was trying my best. And I said to my business partner and my husband, I'm like, let's not focus on the numbers. Don't tell me the numbers. I just want to continue to build and see the lessons that I learned. I really thought I was in tune with myself. And then all of a sudden in January 2018, even though we had been promoting and even though I'd been doing all these other things to grow it, we actually didn't move the needle. In 6 months, we were exactly at the same amount in our business. And I thought to myself, what the heck is going on? Like at the time, I felt like an utter failure because I was like, you're telling me in 7 months, I couldn't get one more person? And what I learned was that people were coming in and people were leaving. And the difficulty was that people said, in my business, hey, I'm not sure if this is going to work for me. But on my end, I was hearing how great it was working for other people. And the thing that people asked for is, Jasmine, we want a Facebook group. And I was stubborn and I said no for 6 months. I look back at that and I think to myself, as a business owner, you must listen to your customer. My customers were talking to me and they were saying, if you don't give us what we need, we're going to leave. And then people were leaving. So one thing that I want to point out is I want to say thank you for the people who left Social Curator. I want to express gratitude for the people who thought it would never work. I want to say thank you for people who are like, this is real cute, but honey, it's not going to go anywhere. That was things that we legit on the inside, what we heard. And I want to express gratitude for that, because if people had not left, if people had not expressed doubt, we wouldn't have changed. We wouldn't have iterated. We wouldn't become the business that we are today. Now, I could have said, oh, you know what? I know what's best. I'm the CEO. Heck no. What I learned is that it is not about you. It is what you can create for other people. What do you want to create for other people? Listen to the audience. Listen to what they're saying that they want, and never put your desires above their own. So I don't know if this is speaking to anybody, but I felt like so strongly I need to show up and I need to speak my truth. The third lesson that I learned was to set my priorities, because I'm going to be real and let you know that I dated my computer more And embarrassingly, then I dated my husband. As a business owner, like, I get it. I understand. You're trying to show up and do all the things, and you wear like 1,000 hats. I know that feeling. I mean, how many people got a blue hat? I got a blue hat. I wear so many hats. Okay. So I understand that. But the thing that I started to realize was that nothing compared. The thing I wanted in life was to enjoy time with my husband and my family, right? You might identify with that. Like, yeah, that's what I want for my business. But I kept on saying, no, let me get this right in my business, and then we'll have time to relax, and then we'll have a good time. And then I got a call that changed everything. And that call was from a friend who said that her husband was diagnosed with brain cancer and he was given just a few months to live. And like, these were people who we like went on vacations with and hung out with. These are people, she was a photographer and I was a photographer, and her husband helped her in her business and my husband helped me in business. And I was like, oh my God, wait, what? And I went downstairs and I sat next to my husband and I started to cry and I started to cry and I started to cry. I couldn't even get the words out. And he said, what in the world happened? Are you okay? And the only thing that I could utter again and again was, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And in that moment, I realized that if I'm not keeping my family a priority, if I'm not putting our time together and saying, you matter, and sure, maybe I am behind an email, and maybe I'm not posting on social in the capacity that I want, and maybe I should be doing these other editing projects or writing projects or shooting projects or video projects. Maybe I should do all of that. And maybe I feel guilty, but feeling guilty is a choice. And feeling overwhelmed is the abundance that we ask for. I asked for more clients. I asked for a bigger business. I asked for different revenue streams. And all of a sudden it came and I'm like, oh my God, this is too much. I can't handle it. No. The thing that should always be my priorities are to set my priorities. Because what are priorities? Well, priorities help set parameters. That if I allowed myself, and I know not everybody is like this. I don't know. I think that maybe as entrepreneurs, maybe some people identify, but like, I like working. Like, I like creating. I like writing. I like shooting videos. I like shooting photos. I like communicating. I like sending DMs to people. I like staying busy. I like being scrappy. I love that stuff. But what happens is if I didn't set parameters on my selfish desire to move the business forward, I was pushing people away. I'm pushing my husband away. I'm pushing my daughter away. I'm pushing my extended family, who I'm just like, oh yeah, we'll totally have a family dinner. Yeah, okay. And guess what I was not doing? I wasn't putting it on a calendar and saying, this is the date. This is what I'm doing. So priorities set parameters. And I don't know about you, but like, I got up and I had a conversation this morning and I was thinking about this stuff. And like, oftentimes it's so easy to ask yourself, at least I do. I ask myself, like, why do I feel so alone? And I started to realize that the reason I feel alone, and maybe you might feel it or maybe you might not, I don't know. But I wonder, and I like, can you let me know? And the way that I'm asking you to let me know is that so other people who watch this, they know that they're not alone. Because the thing that I discovered is that we are only alone if we keep people out of our story. We are only alone if we keep people out of our story. So this is me making the somewhat uncomfortable, vulnerable invitation to let you know that, y'all, I have screwed up so many times. I just listed 3. I could probably, if I had a few minutes, list 300. And I'm telling you that one failure doesn't set you back. It's your ability to stand up again. One of my friends, his name is Lewis House, he said the only way we move past fear of failure is to put ourselves out again and again until the sting disappears. The only way we move past the thing is to show up again and again until the sting disappears. Because I talk to you about failures on the inside of Social Curator. I'm like, yeah, back in 2017, yo, it's 2020, and this year, I'm just telling you, as a business owner to business owner, it has like rocked my world. Like, you wonder, is this what we should be doing? How are these investments? Like, should we go here? Is this where we're guiding the group? Are these the decisions? What kind of promotional aspects are we doing? And all I'm saying is the only way that we move past that that sting, the sting of uncertainty and the sting of fear and the sting of what are they going to think or say or do. Yo, show up again and again. So how do you get back up from failure? You learn the lesson and then you try again. And when you try again, it probably won't look the same. And that's okay. And when you try again, you're going to come back thicker and stronger and smarter. Now, that doesn't guarantee success. Not at all. It just empowers you to say, I'm making a decision to stand in the face of fear and show up again. Now, the reason that this has been a lot on my mind is 2020 is a gnarly year. It just is. There's a ton of people doing a ton of different things. And what I see people saying is, Jasmine, like, I'm scared to show up on social media. Like, what am I going to do? I don't know how. Like, Jasmine, I'm unexpectedly homeschooling my kids. Jasmine, my clients are moving their bookings from 2021 to 2022. Like, what do I do in the meantime to keep moving the needle forward? And y'all, I just tell people you need to plan a month of content in one day. Y'all, it is a free class that we out here just trying to have a good time with. And during this time, I firmly believe that the reason why I'm thinking about failure is that people don't want to put themselves out on social media because they're afraid of what people are going to say. They don't have enough time. They don't feel witty, smart, glamorous enough that their life isn't Instagrammable. And I'm like, yo, in 2020, whose life is really Instagrammable? A lot of us out here on the struggle bus. Yes and amen. Are you on the struggle bus? Y'all, it is time for us to show up and do big things, regardless if we know the future or not. This is your personal invitation from my heart to yours to come to this class, learn how to show up, learn how to plan your content, learn how to shake up the things in your life and business, that understand that what you went through in the past brought you to this very moment. So friends, I am sending you love. I hope you have a great and fantastic day, and know that when we share our story, we are not alone. Thanks, friends. Mwah. Much love. Have a good one. Bye, y'all. Oh, and I hope to see you in class. It's coming up in a week. See you there.